Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a like, by leaving a comment, or by subscribing if you have not already done so. There are a lot of very crazy things happening in the world right now. I'm pretty sure you've noticed if you have a television and or the internet. What we're currently experiencing is a very rapid move away from the US dollar. If you are not familiar with the channel or the idea of the channel or anything else, brief explanation. Right now what we have, especially because of the course of the last 16, 17, 18 months, is we see that the global world reserve currency, which is the US dollar, is rapidly being devalued. There are many discussions about as to why exactly this is happening, and more so comes down to the fact that there are people in the US who need money because of the current world situation. You understand exactly what I'm saying. However, the discussion of how much of that money has been printed is also a very big topic as well, because we see the devaluing of the US dollar, which is causing other currencies around the world to also be devalued as they're also being printed in mass to try and mitigate some sort of way the current situation. The other side of that coin currently is we have a lot of countries who are either openly or secretly accumulating Bitcoin. The most recent one, and I bring this news to you because I have a lot of discussions with my friends. I am lucky enough to have about a good 5 friends who I discuss crypto with nearly all the time. It is constantly our main discussion. As many times as we meet up and try to talk about something else, after about a good 5 minutes, all we end up talking about is Bitcoin and the market. This news came out. It didn't cause anyone to really freak out, and I find that quite fascinating. For those of you who do not know, the current president of El Salvador has announced that he is going to, in the next couple of days, going to put forward a bill that is going to essentially legalize Bitcoin in the country and have Bitcoin be legal tender. So for instance, let's say the US dollar is legal tender within the United States. If they made Bitcoin legal tender, it would basically be on the same exact level as the US dollar. This is significant for about 1,500 reasons. But I think a lot of people who are currently in the cryptocurrency market, this is my opinion, sorry, don't understand the significance of what it means for any country to forego the US dollar and to add Bitcoin as their new legal tender. The idea is that the US dollar is supposed to be the savior and the most used currency of anything on the planet. If your economy is undergoing some type of strife or problem or hyperinflation, mega inflation, if your economy is not doing good, you are expected to announce, well, we have to move to a US dollar standard. To completely circumvent that and say we are going to go to Bitcoin instead is massive. The entire idea when I got into the cryptocurrency space many, many years ago was that eventually we would see countries, especially who had smaller economies, who had economies that were, not that they were never good, it was more of a, they're garbage. I can't find any other word in my head, like any other nice word. We would see these countries moving over to Bitcoin. One of the other really crazy things, if you haven't watched the other videos on this channel or in any other place, is that we've had indications that there are at least 6 other countries right now that we know of who are buying Bitcoin, accumulating Bitcoin, and mining Bitcoin and trying to get in any other way that they can. The most famous ones, if you will, is not South Korea, but the other one. You know what I'm talking about. You can Google it, look for articles, type in the name of that country with Bitcoin, and you will see tons of things rolling out over the last couple of years. I think a lot of people maybe are not too hyped about that country being into the Bitcoin space. But what's happening is that the US dollar once again rules the world. And a lot of the countries who have at some point decided that they did not want to use the US dollar in, exclusivity now have sanctions on top of them. Of course, there are many other reasons why they may have sanctions, but it's usually economic when it comes down to it. So the fact that these countries have now basically said, we're going to start using Bitcoin as one of our main sources of trade, The other main popular ones right now are Iran or Iran and Venezuela. Type in the name of that country with Bitcoin next to it and you will see all the information that you need to see. You don't understand how big this actually is. We are entering hyper-Bitcoinization. We are currently in the moment right now. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've heard about it. Probably the reason that you're even watching this video is because you heard about it a couple of months ago and now you're in the cryptocurrency space. Every website, every single business is, especially from the ones that we've heard. I have other videos on this channel, maybe from the last couple of weeks or so or something like that, where I basically go over every single company who has openly said out loud that they are going to be either be accepting Bitcoin or have been buying hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. They're accepting it as a payment option, as a payment method. They're integrating it into their systems. Banks are doing the exact same thing. Everything is becoming interlocked with Bitcoin. And the other really significant part is that it's now countries. It's no longer just me and you buying and being like, oh, maybe this will happen. We're seeing an outright, what's the word that I want to use? I don't know. It's not disrespect because that's something completely different, but it's more of a, countries are blatantly going against the US dollar and are accumulating Bitcoin and trading Bitcoin between themselves. And these are the countries who are under sanctions. The really fascinating part is that when El Salvador does announce that Bitcoin is legal tender, and we start seeing how well that their economy does from it, especially if we get any indication or any type of news that they are, of course they're going to be doing this, that they're going to be accumulating Bitcoin as well for their actual reserves. This is going to send a signal to the other countries around them, especially those who are not doing very well economically. We need to start doing the exact same thing because Bitcoin is finite. There's not a huge amount of Bitcoin. Every single day, every single week, we're constantly getting news that there are all these just companies, not even the countries, not even individuals, companies buying 15,000 Bitcoin, 8,000 Bitcoin, 900 Bitcoin, 45,000 Bitcoin. There are companies who are trying to hold 1 million Bitcoin, they're rapidly accumulating. If a country says, hey, we see where this is going, we assume that at some point Bitcoin is going to hit $500,000, $1 million, you know, whatever, all these crazy numbers. We need to allocate X amount of Bitcoin to our reserves. Well, that takes off 10,000 Bitcoin from any other countries who could also possibly get it as well. This causes the big run of all these countries getting into it. So the point to be made is that we're seeing history unfolding right before us, and there's billions of people on the planet who don't understand the significance of what's actually happening. Even if we only had 20 countries on the planet who adopted Bitcoin as their new currency, not only are these countries going to become the richest countries on the planet, it means that there is the dominance of the US dollar is declining. We currently see it declining. There are many analysts who believe that the US dollar only maybe has between 10 to 15 years left of actual life inside of it. And then something else is going to take over. It was projected for a while that it would be either India or maybe China who would kind of take over the space, but it looks like Bitcoin is going to be the currency. When I make these videos, I try not to get too hyped. I try to give like you know me. I try to give like a very leveled playing field. Do you understand the significance that Bitcoin has been around for 12, 13 years and we have countries who are talking about legalizing it as actual legal tender? It is the currency of our country. Like, this is the money that you can use alongside our money. Imagine when they announce our Bitcoin reserves are what we are going to use to be able to print our new paper money. Our new paper money, we're not using gold to base it off of. We're using it based on the amount of Bitcoin that we have. This is all coming. This is all going to happen. Like none of this is an impossibility at this point. Especially if you watch all the, if you have a chance. Also, YouTube, Google search. In 2018 and 2019, we started getting news from economists who were actually inside the Kremlin in Russia that they were also buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin as well. And like the very next day, somebody was asking him again. He's like, Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? Because they keep, for those of you who don't know, there's a really fascinating thing in our market where people slip when they say things and then they deny it a couple days later. Also, I mean, the other really, I guess, significant part as well, which people aren't also paying attention to. So many people just pay attention to the price and think that that's a rapid indicator of the entire space. No, you're mistaken. Don't forget that also this month, we are now in June, is when hundreds of US banks are also going to be legally able to start offering Bitcoin to their clients. The idea is that you're going to walk into a bank very soon and they're going to say, hey, do you have a Bitcoin account? You can open one up with us. Do you want to use your Bitcoin in some sort of way? Do you want to lend out your Bitcoin? Kind of the same exact way when you have a bank account right now and you get 0.02% on the money you have on there, they're going to start offering you a higher rate for Bitcoin. So we have less than 10 years before we see the ultimate decline of the US dollar. It is not going to happen overnight. It is happening day by day, and a lot of people aren't paying attention to it. It is still projected that by the year 2025 to 2030, we will probably, I don't know this for certain, we will probably see a $1 million Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be the moment for a lot of people where they go, oh, I have to get into the market now, not realizing that 2021 was probably the moment for them. I do hope you all enjoyed. This is crazy. Like you don't get the significance of what it means for any country to do this. And we've had countries over the last couple of years, and I've mentioned to people, these countries are in Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin, they're mining Bitcoin, and everyone goes, well, the price is 15,000, why should I care? I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.